Welcome to Inside PTI, weekly videos designed to get you the trial information you want, agronomy explanations you need, and insights that'll set you up for success on your farm. Hey, today we are at the PTI farm. We're in one of our trials, a little demonstration that I think is interesting to see, and it involves turn compensation on the planter. Now, what does turn compensation mean? Well, we've got a meter here that we took off the row unit of the planter, and it's got an electric motor called V-drive that we're using to control our seeding rate as we plant our crop. Now, I've taken it off the meter here, and so I got a little close-up version. But this is the electric motor, plug and play, that we use on our meter, and this gets us the population that we're trying to plant. Now, one of the neat things about this that we call turn compensation is we've got a farm where we've got contours, and that planter, as you're planting through the field, let's say you start turning at a contour, and the far end of the planter starts whipping around. Well, if you think about that planter versus row one versus the outside row, there's a speed difference. So as you start turning, this outside row goes faster and the inside row goes slower. So if you don't have an electric motor here that can compensate for those speed differences, your population or your seeding rate gets way off. And so the nice thing about V-drive is it will know the speed of every single row unit, and if the inside rows start slowing down, this will start turning slower and drop that population. On the other side, on the outside of the planter where it's whipping around really fast, this will actually say, hey, we need to compensate for that high speed to get the right population. So what does it look like? If we have farms where we don't have turn compensation, what does it look like in the field? So let's go out into the corn, and I want to show you some various populations and show you what it's like turn compensation on versus turn compensation off. All right, so this is what I call the horseshoe. This is where we do our turn compensation trials. Think about making a big old horseshoe with the planter. We're turning pretty excessive, and on the one end of the planter, she's going really fast, okay? And so we're trying to compensate for it, whereas the inside of the planter is going really slow. So this is where we have turn compensation on, okay? We've got it configured into our 2020, telling that V-drive to change the population for every row based on the speed it's going. And we'll just walk through here and we'll look at the consistency of all these seeding rates. So one of the neat things I like about this turn compensation is, I want you to look at row number 4. When we planted this, we were planting at 36,500 seeds per acre. Row 4, actually, we did stain counts and it came in at 37,000. We just rounded it up to the closest thousand. So row 4 is where, think of that outside of the planter going really fast, swinging around, and then the inside going really slow. So row 4 is just nailing this thing at 37,000 populations. Here's row number 4. The inside of that planter where it's slowing down. Remember, the outside is swinging around going really fast. Here on the inside, row number 4, she's going slow. But V-drive's going to work for us. We know how fast we're going, and we're at 37,000 populations when we had dialed in 36.5. So really close here. Now, let's go to where we've got turn compensation off. Look at row number 4 and see where this 37,000 population ended up into. All right, now we're in turn compensation off, and it looks a little different in here, doesn't it? I mean, this is a jungle in here. So we were ending up with, turn compensation on over at the other side, 37,000 seeds per acre. Now with it off, we're finding 74,000 seeding rates. And again, that planter was going too slow here, and it was overplanting. This is one of the biggest yield hits that we're gonna have with this study because we've got too many plants per acre, and it's gonna be too much stress. And just look at the competition out here in the field, and this is just too costly, especially with the cost of seed. But this is a big overplanting situation here with turn compensation off. All right, let's take a look at some yield data. In 2018, we did the same demonstration. We took it to yield. Where we had turn compensation off in row 16 that was under planting, we weren't getting enough plants per acre out there, we were losing 25 bushel as a result. But the real loss, the big loss, was from that row 1 where we were overplanting due to the way too high of a population. We actually lost 64 bushel to the acre. What's really significant about this is let's take the price of corn into this as well as the seed, and that overplanting lost us $369 an acre. So there's no sense in having this. If you've got contours on your farm, we can turn compensation on, and we can eliminate some of these losses. Let's look at the data when we have turn compensation on. Look how even and stable it is. Row 1, we're only 1.4 bushel deviance versus row 16, 3.5. So we bring those all into a level playing field. Let's go to the dollars per acre on this, and they're all nice and level. So that's what turn compensation can do for us, using those V-drive motors to get the right seeding rate on every single row of the planter. So today's Inside PTI agronomy tip of the day is turn compensation can get rid of some pretty significant yield losses if you've got that farm that's got those really wide turns and contours on the farm. So not only is turn compensation a big part of V-drive, but what about swathing? Using the V-drives to turn on and off, like the old clutches we used to have on the planter. The electric motors will do that for us as well with V-drive. And then lastly, variable rate seeding. We can use V-drive to change that population on the fly. Maybe you've got management zones set up, and we'll use V-drive to get the right seeding rate across various management zones on the farm. For more information about anything that we've talked about today, you can go to our website at precisionplanting.com, or you can contact your local Precision Planting Premier dealer. Thanks for watching.